Hello guys, it's Ryan here with HobbiesofaMan. Once again, today we're going to be doing our haul video for the month of May. And it's going to be pretty varied, and it's going to be kind of bigger than usual, I think. Or at least it feels like that to me. And there's going to be a lot of different things. So we're going to start with fountain pen stuff. Then we're going to look at some other things that I got. So I'm going to label that as miscellaneous. Then we're going to have some movies, then figures, then novels, and then comics, and then manga at the end. So feel free to skip through the sections and only watch the parts you like. If you don't want to watch any of it, feel free to click away. Yeah, so it's going to be long and varied, and there's going to be a bunch of random shit. So feel free to, watch the segments you like. So let's start off with the fountain pens, because if you guys watched one of my recent videos, I mentioned that I bought these two Jinhao 80s, and they kind of reignited my passion for fountain pens. And so I did end up buying 6 fountain pens, but I only have 4 of them because I'm waiting for 2 of them to arrive, because I bought them from China, so they're gonna take a long time to get here. So first of all, we have this Jinhao 80. This is a silver clip, has a silver nib there, and there's a fine nib. This is a Chinese pen. Here's the black one, same exact thing. It just has a black clip at the front. And these have a very nice spring-loaded clip there, so it's very easy to put on and take off from stuff. And these are loaded up with Oxblood and Oxford Blue. If you're not interested in fountain pens, none of this is going to make sense to you, but trust me, it's good stuff. So yeah, then we have a Jinhao X159. There's a huge pen, and this one is maroon, which is kind of different for me. I usually stick to black and silver colored things, and it's huge, and it has a number 8 nib. Although this is a fine with 2 tones, and it's gold and silver, but obviously it's just a steel nib. And then finally we have this Jinhao 82. There's a tiny pen in comparison. This one's ivory, and it looks really, really good. I actually really enjoy this one. And this is literally the only pen that I will ever write with posted, because it's just so small that I really need to use it like that. I do have a Coeco Sport in burgundy, which looks like this, but I don't know where it is, and I can't find it. So until I find it, this is really the only pen that I'm ever going to use posted. And I really like it because it's so small, so it really fits easily in my pocket. And it's probably going to become a regular workhorse pen that I use quite often, right? So yeah, but definitely my favorite purchase in terms of pens was definitely these Jinhao 80s, specifically the one in black, because I like the all black look after I bought a Lamy Safari all black from 2019, 20, I don't remember, but after that, I feel like everything I own has to have a black version, and I quite like that. So also ended up buying 7 diamine inks, and I initially bought 3 of them because I thought something, and then when I got them, I realized that one of the inks was not the color I assumed, so I ended up buying another set so I could get the color I assumed, and then I ended up also buying one normally from my local Kinokuniya, which is a Japanese stationery and bookstore. And so let me show you all of the ones that I bought. So first of all, we have Midnight, which is the one I assumed was Twilight. Realized it wasn't, so I ended up buying another pack. But this first pack came with Midnight, Ancient Copper, and Rider's Blood, if I remember correctly. The second pack came with Green Black, Twilight, which is the one I wanted, and it also came with Jet Black, which is an ink I'm probably not going to use all that often, since I have Takesumi, and I like that one a lot more. And then the one that I bought at Kinokuniya is Aurora Borealis, which is an ink that I really ended up adoring. I think it looks really, really good. So yeah, I really enjoy this ink a lot. I also bought some Tomio River paper, but it's in my desk and I don't feel like getting up right now. So yeah, I bought a 100 pack of A4 sheets of Tomoe River paper, and honestly, I think the Tomoe River paper is really not a paper I like. It's really nice and smooth, and it's a really high quality piece of paper, but when it comes to my writing uses and the way I want to feel when I'm writing, it's too smooth, and it really makes it difficult to enjoy my writing experience, because it feels like I'm not really doing anything while I'm writing, which, seems like a pretty counterintuitive thing. You would assume that that's a good thing, but to me, I feel like the tactile feedback of writing is what I like, and I'm not really getting that with the Tomoe River paper being so smooth. So yeah, however, it's really good for ink swatches. So there you go. Let me show you all the colors I got here, because I should have them here. So This one is jet black. It's pretty basic. It has a nice gray tone there if you write lightly, so that's good. Then we have green black right here. That one looks good. It has some sheen to it. It looks like black sheen, but compared to my Private Reserve ebony green, it's not as good. Then we have ancient copper right there. Looks really, really good. It doesn't look like there's any sheen, or well, maybe a little bit, but I can't really tell you what color it is. Probably black, because that makes sense to me. Then we have Writer's Blood, which is only slightly different from Oxblood. It's actually kind of a lesser version of Oxblood since it doesn't have any sheen there. But it's a pretty cool color. I like it on some of my pens, but it's not my favorite. And we have Twilight right there. This one looks really, really good. I like this kind of like blue-black, kind of vaguely gray color. Midnight is a pretty standard blue. It's not one that I like all that much. It feels kind of like faded, but not in a way that I like. So I'm probably not going to use that all that often, but that sheen is nice. Then we have Oxford Blue, which is one I always use, but it's not actually a new one. And then we have Aurora Borealis right there, which is a nice one. Doesn't seem to be what's called an ink with a sheen, but if you look closely, it actually does have some red sheen there, which looks really, really good. And of course, it makes sense because Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights, are kind of this kind of blue-green with red, so it makes sense that they would have all of these attributes. But when I write, especially on the normal type of paper that I write, which is cheap, Walmart brand paper, it's really good, but it is kind of like cheaper than, Tomoe River paper or Rhodia or Clairefontaine. It basically just looks kind of like this part of the blue here. It doesn't really get into all of the other fancy things, right? But overall, very good colors. I quite like them, and I really enjoy this paper for the sake of swatching and realizing, hey, this is what the ink actually looks like. But it's not really. I don't think I will really use it for writing all that often, just because it doesn't really fit my my personal desires when I'm writing, right? So yeah, that's all I have to say about inks and paper and stuff like that. So let's move on to something different, which actually is kind of related still, and that would be coloring books and color pencils. And I actually got this set of Staedtlers, 48 of them. They're really, really good. They have very nice color selection here. However, I just dropped them on the floor, so I hope I didn't break all the leads inside the pencils, because that's actually why I bought these. I actually ended up buying a pretty average set of Crazy Art pencils, which were $2. They worked fine for my purposes, but when I started to try to sharpen them, I realized that all of the leads were broken, and that's not great. It's really annoying. So I ended up deciding, hey, maybe I should buy a better set of pencils. And that set of 48, because I was initially going to buy a Prismacolor set, but that was expensive. It was $24 for $15, and this one was 48 for $12. So I ended up getting this instead. And maybe I just ruined them by dropping them on the floor, but hopefully they're fine. So yeah. Now, why did I get into buying coloring books? Well, I had known that coloring for adults was a thing for quite a while, and I had told my sister, who suffers from anxiety and some other kind of problems like that, hey, maybe you should develop an activity that kind of helps you lessen those feelings, right? And because the few times that I've ever had stuff like that happen to me, I found kind of like artistic outlets to be good for me. I told her, hey, maybe painting or coloring would work well. Usually what I do is actually like Plamo or other kind of like arts and crafts kind of things. When I feel kind of like anxious and I need some control in my life, I kind of do Gunpla stuff. But I told her that, and so when she moved in with me this summer, because she's doing an internship here in my city, she ended up buying one. And she started painting or coloring, and she told me, hey, it's actually really, really good. So now that it kind of worked, I decided to try it out for myself. And so I bought those color pencils, and I also bought myself 2 different coloring books here. Well, one of them is this Crayola Art with an Edge packet. I mostly bought this because it came with this cool poster. And it was supposed to be $8, but I actually got it for 75 cents because Walmart had some sort of issue with the way that they cataloged this. So I got it for 75 cents, which is awesome. Really, really good stuff. And so since I got this for 75 cents and I wanted an actual coloring book, I decided to get this one, Alien Worlds. And I really love how this looks. It's really, really cool. And I really like this artist who created this book. And I'm probably going to end up buying his other, Worlds collection books because they're pretty interesting. There's 4 of them. There's this one. Then there's one called Worlds Within Worlds. There's this one called Fragile Worlds. And there's another one, but I forgot what it's called. But there's 4 of them that are in this, black with some sort of worlds title. And I quite like them. And if you follow this guy on Instagram and stuff, you'll get to see some of the drawings he does. And the stories that he comes up with that kind of fit with this story, or with the drawings, right? And the thing I like about this one actually is that it is kind of a story, right? So it starts out with, this character here. Let me find it. Kind of landing on a planet, disembarking from a ship, and then kind of like from there, you just get to see him go through all of these places and meet all of these creatures and stuff. And it's really, really cool. So I really enjoy the concept of this book and the images here. So I'm very excited to get around to coloring them. But I haven't really had time to do that yet. So yeah, that's it for that. I kind of realized that this really doesn't have anything to do with manga and anime, but this is Hobbies of a Man, right? So it includes all of the stuff that I'm kind of interested in. And so that's why we're kind of deviating a bit. So that's it for that. Let's move on to movies here, and I have 4 of them. So let's start off with the 3 that I have currently, and I'll get up and get the other one here in a second. So one of my local stores called Movie Trading Company, which is one I've mentioned before on the channel. It's actually where I got those 2 posters up there, had a sale for Memorial Day. So I went down there on Friday, and I got three things, right? So first I got Tarzan. This is the most recent version of the Tarzan story that we had. This one is with Alexander Skarsgård and Samuel L. Jackson and Margot Robbie. And I really enjoyed this movie when I watched it, but I don't remember watching it ever again after that. And since it was only $5, I decided to give it a shot. And because I'm a big Tarzan fan, I was interested in seeing what happens here. If I remember correctly, this one is about Tarzan having to deal with some sort of diamond hidden city or something. And it's pretty cool. And then I got The Green Knight, which is the only A24 movie that I've ever watched in my life, and one that I really, really enjoyed. I actually watched this in a theater with my buddy Robert, who has been my friend for many, many years. And I really enjoyed it when I watched it with him. And it was the first time that I really experienced this kind of like film, right? Like usually I watch movies, and movies are not like particularly artistic. I think, or like obviously they are, right? Because there's so much artistry and so much passion and care that goes into making movies, but I've never really thought of them as like pieces of art, right? And I don't think I thought about this movie as a piece of art either, but there was many scenes in this movie that made me feel like I was watching a piece of artwork, which is kind of interesting. It's something that I don't really do all that often. It's not something I reflect on. However, I do have a cinephile friend, Eduardo, who has been my friend basically my whole life. And we used to talk about A24 and stuff like that, and what was different and what was similar in terms of how they went about making movies compared to kind of Hollywood and stuff. And it never really made sense to me, but after I watched this, I kind of understood a little bit of what he was saying and what he had told me throughout our lives. So it was pretty interesting to kind of enjoy that. And so when I saw this movie, available, I decided to grab it. And I'm very happy I did. I'm very excited to get to watch this again and also kind of get to experience those feelings and those emotions and those things and link them to some of my friends, right? So overall, very happy with these 2 purchases. And then I got Ghost in the Shell. And this is kind of interesting because I ended up getting this one instead of this DVD version I found, because the DVD was new. It was cheaper, but it was new. And I got this one because it was used. So the sale was get 2 used movies, and you get a 3rd one free. So I got these 2, and happily they had this version of Ghost in the Shell. This is the 25th anniversary edition, and it has 25 printed on it, which is kind of cool. And it's a movie I've never seen before. I've never even seen the Scarlett Johansson one, even though I was really interested in that movie because I really like Scarlett Johansson. I think she's super hot, so I wanted to watch that movie to see her, but I never did. And now that I found the original anime version, I think I'm going to watch this. And I'll watch the other one and see, which one's better. Of course, it's going to be this one, but it's pretty interesting to kind of see that, right? So there you go. That's the 3 movies here. Okay, and the last movie here is a new film, and this is Fire and Ice, which is a old animated film. This is an animated film for adults. It's from 1983, and it's in color. It's 81 minutes long, and it's kind of weird, but also really interesting. It's done by the original director of the animated Lord of the Rings, Rakshi something, I think, Ralph Bakshi, and with stuff from Frank Frazetta. So Frank Frazetta did the artwork, did the character models and stuff like that. And the other guy directed the movie, and they worked together to make this movie. And it's really, really interesting because it's a sword and sorcery movie, but it was completely rotoscoped, which is like they had actors acting out the scenes, and then Frank Frazetta would work over the film in order to create an animation of it. And it's really, really interesting. I started watching the digital version because it's free on Tubi, but I wanted a physical copy in case I really enjoyed it, because I think it's important to kind of like, or it's important to keep the things that you like in physical media. And I never thought I'd find this, so when I did, I decided to get it regardless of whether I knew that I liked the movie or not, because if I don't like it, I can resell it for quite a bit, honestly, because this is brand new, it's never been opened. So it's kind of, there's probably value in that, but also, if I do like it, I get to have a really interesting piece of adult animation from the US, right? So it's pretty interesting. I'm quite happy with that. And I did watch the first 20 minutes of it. I'm very interested in this movie, so I'm very excited about that. And I also went to my local comic book shop recently and asked them to put in an order for the new Fire and Ice comic book that's going to come out by Dynamite, I think. And maybe it was Image. I think it's Dynamite later this year, which is tied to this, right? So there you go. Lots of interesting things happening that are all kind of connecting here for me, which is cool, right? So yeah, that's it for the miscellaneous things, the things that are not really what I talk about here on the channel, but kind of relate in some ways, right? So you know what? I realized that I forgot to do the figures earlier, so I'm going to do them now, and I'm going to actually stitch them where they're supposed to go. So I apologize for the lighting if it changes abruptly. So yeah, I got two figures this month. I got this Naruto nano block thing from Hobby Lobby, and then this Gunpla here, which is a Leo. This one is from Gundam Wing, I think. Well, it says HE After Colony, but I'm pretty sure this is a Wing Gundam, or you know, wherever the Tall Geese is from, because this is basically a Tall Geese without the helmet. So yeah, really isn't too much going on here, but I'm very excited about this little nano block. They also had a soccer one, but I decided that since I've never done one of these, I'll just stick to the one I like, and I'll do the other one if I enjoy it. But if I don't, it's cool. I didn't waste so much money on this, so it's fine. And here is the Leo again, so you guys can kind of see it. I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure this is a Gundam Wing novel. Yeah, it is. So right there. And this is a 2018 model, so it should be pretty easy and pretty you know, well done. And that's pretty good. So there you go. Yeah, let's move on to the novels here, and we're going to talk about the digital novels. I actually ended up getting a lot of novels this month digitally, and so I'm just going to be quiet and leave some space here, and I'm just going to put images of all of the novels I got, because I honestly can't remember it off the top of my head, and I didn't really feel like writing all of them down. So here's a bunch of them. And I would say that the most interesting kind of, you know, notable things are definitely Wyvern Academy, which is a series that finished and that I bought completely. Guild Core, both of those series are by Atlas Kane. Fiddlemancer, I think, and some of the Jack Porter Harem Light novels that I bought. So, and also Time Pirate by Eric Val. So this month there was a lot of sales for a lot of different Harem Lit authors. And I ended up buying a lot of them. So there you go. I also ended up getting some other things because I signed up to this thing called Free Booksy, which just sends you an email every day with new selection of things that are free. And most of them are self-published works, so they're probably not going to be the best, but a lot of them sound interesting. So I ended up buying quite a few of them, or kind of downloading quite a few of them. So there you go. Now, that's it for the digital stuff there. It's probably a lot. So yeah. And let's move on to the physicals. So let's start with the stuff I bought previously, and then we'll look at the stuff that I bought earlier today at Half Price Books. So let's start with Louis L'Amour's Flint. This is a standalone novel as far as I can tell. And Louis L'Amour is a Western writer. He's been going on forever, I think. He might have died. I'm not really sure. I don't think so. And I bought this at my local Walmart. It was like $7. And I bought it because one of my favorite booktubers, Michael Vaughn, I think is his name, has this event called June on the Range. And it's about reading Western novels. And I've never read a Western novel in my life. And it's not really a series or a genre that I've been really all that interested in. But because he's doing this, and because I wanted to kind of play into his reading event, I decided to buy this. So hopefully I like it, and if I don't, it's fine. It's no big deal. But I'm pretty excited about this. So it might kind of spin into a new genre that I enjoy, because mostly I stick to sci-fi and fantasy with historical novels here and there. Or it might be a disaster and I won't like this at all. I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty interested in kind of figuring it out, right? Since I really do like space westerns, like The Mandalorian or Cowboy Bebop, stuff like that. But I've never actually sat down to read a Western novel. So that's going to be pretty exciting there. So there you go. Then Antonio Blanco was nice enough to send me books 3 and 4 in the Akahoshi Book Club novel set or series. And again, with this weird art style that I don't love, but that makes total sense for his perspective and the way that he's kind of doing these things, because it seems like he's doing everything by himself. So totally understand the perspective and why this stuff happens, but it is still a little bit odd and off-putting. But I like the story quite a bit, so I'm very excited to read more of these, and hopefully I'll get around to them soon. And my mother went down to the local used bookstore that is near our house, and she went there because they called her because they had this old system where you would fill out cards for books that you wanted, and as they were getting these books, they would call you and stuff. And it's been many years since anything happened, but recently in this last year, a lot of the books that I wanted have been coming in, trickling in slowly, and so my mom's been getting calls regularly every couple months. And so this time it was Theft of Swords by Michael J. Sullivan. This is actually 2 novels in one, because it was initially self-published. Eventually Orbit decided to pick it up, and so we have this version of the novel now. And I think stuff happened with the author in Orbit, and so they went back to being self-published, but they decided to keep this edition, and so now you can buy them from their website, and they're going to be like this, but they won't have the Orbit logo, as far as I understand. I'm not really sure if that's the case, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. At least that's what I've seen to be the case, but I'm not really sure. So there you go. This is a pretty interesting story here from the Rairia Revelations. It's a very weird word to say for me, but there you go. So very excited about this. And then all of the novels that I bought today. Now, it's not really that many, but it was pretty cool. So Half Price Books had a sale going on. You get 20% off books during this weekend. However, something about it fell off. Like the numbers didn't add up correctly in my mind. But I figured it out. It works. It was just, I feel like they would charge you and then apply the sale afterwards, after tax. Which is kind of odd, because I feel like usually they do it before tax. And that kind of made the numbers a little wonky. Or it was that I didn't take into account tax when I did the math. I'm not really sure what it was. But the point is that I did save some money. I just don't think I saved as much as I should have. But it doesn't really matter, at the end of the day. I did get discounts on already discounted books, so I'm happy with that. So first I started with Murder Express. Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. Something about classic kind of like whodunit mysteries has been exciting to me recently. I have some James Bond books and some Sherlock Holmes books at home that I've never read that I'm interested in reading. And because of Glass Onion and the movie before that, I've been kind of interested in the genre lately. So I decided to go for, the best of the best, which is Agatha Christie here. So yeah, this was the cheapest edition they had that was also in good condition. So Even though I don't really love movie covers, this one's not too bad. So I'm very excited to see if I like this book or not, because it's something new that I want to check out. So I've been kind of experimenting with genres lately. And then going back to some classic tried and true stuff, we have Edgar Rice Burroughs' Cave Girl, Lost on Venus, which is the second in the Venus series, the Amtor series. I Am a Barbarian, which is one of the few historical fiction novels that Edgar Rice Burroughs wrote. And The Eternal Savage, also called The Eternal Lover. And these editions are kind of weird. So these two are bigger than usual, and they're published by Tandem, and they also have the worst covers I've ever seen on Edgar Rice Burroughs books. But I don't really know what the situation here is. These might be from the UK, which, you know, yeah, it looks like they are from the UK. So that's pretty interesting, but it's not particularly important. I just want all of the books so that I can read them, right? So there you go. And then these are more classic, Del Rey and what's this other one? Ace. So these have very nice Edgar Rice Burroughs or, you know, Boris Vallejo or, you know, some other guy doing some amazing artwork on the covers here. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Boris Vallejo. It doesn't look like Frank Frazetta to me, so let's double check and see if that's the case or not. Let's see if it says here. It doesn't look like it. Yeah, it doesn't say anywhere, but I'm pretty sure that's a Boris Vallejo cover. And if not, well, it's probably Frazetta, so it doesn't really matter. It's definitely not Joe Jusko. Those are the new ones. So yeah, I'm very excited about this because every new Edgar Rice Burroughs book that I get means that I'm one closer to collecting all of the stuff that he wrote. And that's very exciting to me. I think Edgar Rice Burroughs is one of my favorite authors. You know, even with the issues that come with the fact that he's over 100 years old, or his books are over 100 years old at this point, and so there's a lot of issues with racism and stuff that come from his books. I think that the books are really good, and they're really enjoyable, and they have kind of a vibe, an interest, a kind of genre that really isn't explored nowadays, that being planetary or adventure, jungle adventure, jungle, what's it called? Yeah, I guess just jungle adventure would be the name. And stuff that maybe feels kind of cliche to add to new novels today, and so people don't, but that I find really, really enjoyable. So yeah, that's it for the novels. I think I'm going to take a break here, and I'll do the other stuff later, right? So I'll see you guys in another clip. Okay, so I'm back. Let's do the comic books here. So like earlier with the novels, I actually ended up getting a lot of free comic books, partially because of Free Comic Book Day, partially because there's a lot of issue ones that were for free from Image on Kindle, on Amazon. So I ended up getting a few of them. And I'm just going to show you pictures of the stuff. Okay, and the notable things here are probably Adventure Man, Aerosmith, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, I think is what it's called. And there was another one, Mirage Lady or something like that, which is a Top Cow. Well, it's Image, but Top Cow thing. And I got it because the cover was really interesting. So yeah, now let me show you the physical stuff. So here we have some things I got from the store near the comic book store that I go to. That's more of like an old used video game store, but they have a little comic book section, and everything is $1. So here we have Mecha number 1, and number 2, and number 3. And I'm not really sure what this is about. This is an old Dark Horse title. It's not Japanese. It seems to be American, and it's completed in these 3 issues. But I'm not really sure what it's about. So I just got it because it was, you know, basically $3 for the whole thing. Also got this Psyblade book. This is Cyberforce Origins book. And this is a one-shot, I think. And she looks like Psylocke. And I really like this art style. It reminds me a lot of Michael Turner. But it's Mark Silvestri. So there you go. Really good stuff there. And I'm very excited about this one. But I don't really know too much about the Cyber Force, so yeah. Then we have Flash Gordon #1. This one was mostly just kind of because I'm interested in Flash Gordon in the sense that Flash Gordon was inspired by a lot, like Edgar Rice Burroughs novels, and then Flash Gordon inspired Star Wars. So there's this like lineage of sci-fi that I want to follow through with, right? So yeah, now let's look at the free comic book day things that I got. So let me make sure that I can show you guys. Mech Cadets, this one was pretty interesting. I'm pretty excited about the show. I'm definitely going to check out the show, but I don't think I'm going to end up buying any of these comic books. This one, Fish Flies, I didn't read it, but it's a Jeff Lemire book. So I'm going to give it a chance at some point, just not when I got it. This is Exo Manowar. This is actually an old comic book. I think it's from like 2019. Or actually it says spring 2017. But it's one that one of my local comic book shops had, so I picked it up just to check it out. We have an Aftershock title, We Live the Last Days. I didn't really care about this one, but it was a little bit interesting. We have this Witcher Umbrella Academy one. This one was fine. This is Star Wars High Republic. I didn't like this one at all. I'm not going to read this. Street Fighter. This one was fine. I like the cover a lot, though. Then we have Uncanny Avengers. This one was pretty interesting, actually. I quite liked it. But I'm definitely staying away from Marvel because, I don't know, I just don't ever feel excited about what I read when I buy a Marvel book. So I'm going to stay away from it. Spider-Man Venom. This one is classic at this point. It's always there. And I didn't really care about this one. Here we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This one was fun, but it wasn't really my favorite. Here we have Dawn of DC and Night Terror Special Edition. This one is pretty interesting, mostly because I find these like death metal-esque kind of versions of the heroes to be interesting, but I'm probably not going to check this out. There are some Dawn of the DC titles that I am interested in, like Green Arrow and Blue Beetle and Wonder Woman, but I'm not really, really getting any of them except Green Arrow at this point. So yeah, then Rangers Academy. This one was pretty good, actually. It's pretty interesting, but I'm not really sure that I'm going to pick up any of these books when they come out. Mostly because I feel like I want to read the whole, Power Rangers thing, and I don't really want to start with a side story, right? So, yeah. Then we have The Sacrifices. This one was pretty cool. I'll definitely get the first issue, but I'm not really sure that I'm going to continue after that. But the art style was cool. Then we have the Frazetta-verse. This one was pretty good. There wasn't really anything new here except for a little segment of the story here that included the Norsemen, and there was this kind of prequel aspect to the Mothmen here, which is pretty cool, but it wasn't like really important. If you're interested, you can find them online at this point. They came out May 10th, I think, so yeah. RuneScape, Untold Stories, Untold Tales of the God Wars. This one is pretty interesting, but it's not one I'm going to continue to kind of check out. Then I have Red Sonja. This one is fine. Honestly, the best part about this is that at the end, it shows you every Red Sonja book ever. And the story was interesting enough for me to continue to, be interested in Red Sonja and to actually check out the new ongoing Red Sonja title, even though I'm pretty sure I did say after Unbreakable that I was not going to pick up any more Red Sonja titles, but it's the anniversary year of Red Sonja. I think she's 75 this year. And they're doing a new series, and it seems to be pretty interesting. So I do want to check it out at least a little bit. And I'm going to be a lot more serious about cutting it off if I don't like it, right? But the problem is that I always feel like I can cancel my order, but I'm only going to get one. I'm going to get one more book anyways, because they won't cancel the order that I already had set up. So if I like that new order that came in that was canceled, I'm going to want to continue to read it. And so I'm going to cause an issue for my local store, and I don't really want to do that. So usually all I do is just continue and then figure out what to do when, a storyline ends, right? A story arc ends. Then we have the Conan the Barbarian book, and this one was great. I'm actually really excited about the series. Titan did a great job getting you interested with this one. So I already have my store pull the series for me, so I'm very excited to get into that. So that's it for the free comic book stuff. It's more than 10. Usually, most comic book stores don't let you get that many, but the one I go to usually, actually the one I don't go to usually, has huge sales that day. So a lot of people come by. So they let you basically just take whatever you want because they have like 100 books of each one. So they just let you grab as many things as you want. So yeah, now moving on to some other things that I bought that same day. We have Invincible Iron Man. I got this purely for the cover. Emma Frost is awesome. It's kind of embarrassing, I guess, but I really like Emma Frost as a concept. I'm not really a fan of her character because I've never really read anything about her. But it's because of the X-Men First Class movies. There's this gorgeous blonde lady. She turned into Crystal, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And the fact that she was super hot and she was dressed in this really provocative way made me really interested in this character. But I've never actually read anything with her in it, and I really like this cover, and I needed something to make the sale worth it because, you know, you buy 2 things and then the third one is free. And I didn't have anything else that was in this price range, so I just picked up this cover, and I'm really happy with it. I really like it. And, you know, I might frame this cover because I like it that much, but I'm not really sure if that's the right thing to do, right? So, yeah. Then we have Moon Knight 23. It was a good ending volume, but I really don't like this cover. So, shit happens. It's just what it is. Then we have Death Dealer number 12. This one is pretty good. Barbarella number 3. It's fine. I think this series ends in 6 issues, so I'm going to continue to buy it. Then we have Green Arrow number 1 for the Dawn of DC. This was a great first issue, and I'm very happy with it. And I really like the art style, and I love this cover there with Black Canary looking gorgeous there. And all the guys looking really badass as well. So, yeah. Then we have Shazam number 1, and this one was an awesome cover. And I decided not to continue this story because I didn't really like the ending. But overall, it's fine. It's not a big deal. We have Vanish number 7. Supermassive 2023. This one is the latest Supermassive crossover. Then we have Green Arrow number 2. There you go. Trying to make sure stuff doesn't fall off. Dawn Attack number 4. This one was really good, and it's almost the ending, so I'm very excited to see how this goes, and hopefully we get a second series for Dawn Attack because I quite like it. Then we have The Forge. This is the ending of this first volume, so in the next month or so, I'll come back, reread everything, and then give you guys a review. And this was really good. I really enjoyed it. Dead Romans number 3. This one continues to be a really good story. I really enjoy this. Historical fiction comic books is something that I'm not really used to, and I quite like this one, so that's very good. Then we have No One number 3. This one was really good as well. And we have Mighty Barbarians number 2. This one is awesome. I really love this story a lot. I think Michael Morrissey's doing a really great job with all the comic books he's working on right now, and I'm very happy. So, yeah, really enjoy this one. If you guys have not picked up this series, definitely go pick it up. It's by Ablaze, which is a small comics publisher. They also do manga, and that's a really good comic book there. Last Barbarians number 4. This is the penultimate issue, and thank God it's ending, but also this one was finally good, and I quite liked it, but it seems like the story is ending, and I'm not going to get the second arc once that starts coming out. I really don't want it. And then Lord of the Jungle number 5. This one was good. I really enjoyed this issue a lot, actually, because it finally gave us a lot of background story. It told us why Tarzan is doing what he's doing, and it showed us, you know, the interest that Tarzan has in the people of this of Africa, basically, of this hidden, you know, civilization. I quite liked it. So that's it for the comic books. Let's move on to the manga now. So let's start with the stuff that I got at my store when I went to the free comic book day. So first of all, I fucked up and I got Pokemon number 4 instead of number 3. But I realized that I would have not been able to get it anyways because I didn't have it, so it's fine. I did see it recently at a Barnes & Nobles, but I decided not to get it right now because I just had other things I wanted to buy, right? So there you go. Then we have number 2. So this one was correct. I got this one properly, but I'm very excited about this one, and it feels really thick and very heavy. So I'm not sure if that's just how the books are, or I just don't remember that they were that way from the first one. So yeah, then I finally managed to finish collecting No Guns Life. So we have Number 11, which looks really, really good in pink. Number 12 in this kind of yellow. And then finally ending with this orange color with this really cool cover of all the characters there. And I really like this a lot. So I'm very happy with this. I'm very excited to finally get to read it. And I was going to read it this month, but I've really had a bad time. I've had a horrible reading slump, and I've not really been able to get over it all that much. So it kind of sucks, but it's just how it goes. So hopefully I'll be able to read it next month. And, you know, if not, who knows? We have Dr. Stone Byakuya. Now, I wasn't originally going to plan to buy this, but I ended up buying some other stuff that was in the $10 range, and I needed something extra. And I didn't want a sale to go to waste, so I picked this up because it's a one-off, and it was one that I'm pretty happy to collect. So there you go. That's Dr. Stone Reboot Byakuya. And then we have Ace's Story number 2. I don't know why this is like 4 times as thick as the first volume, but it finishes up the story, and I'm very excited to see how it goes. I'm going to read both of them in one go, and after that I'll decide if I want to review them individually or together, and I'll figure it out from there. Now we have Gunbird Sisters, number 4. This is the last volume, and it's one that I'm very excited about, and I really like this here, the image here. And it seems like it's going to be something that kind of got canceled, so hopefully it ends well. Then we have Boys Abyss, which I've not been able to read yet, but I'm very excited about. This one looks really, really good. The one thing I'm going to complain about is the lack of color pages. They always do this. It's like, dude, you're charging me a premium price. You're going to increase the prices here soon, and you can't give me a fucking color page. Like, this was basically going to be black already. Just make it have the shiny thing so they can actually see the detail here, because like it's impossible to see what's going on here. Like, I don't know. I really just wish they would give us the color pages that we like honestly deserve, because these fucking volumes cost so much. So there you go. That should have also been a color page. And then from here it starts normally, but I'm very upset that they never give us the color pages, especially on these Viz signatures. Like, how can you say it's a signature line or volume when you don't give us the whole signature treatment, right? So that's just a pet peeve I have all the time with manga. So, I'm not going to get too heated about it, but man, I really wish I had color pages. We have Record of Ragnarok number 6. I'm not actually all that excited about this issue or this volume, because I don't really care about Jack the Ripper. Also, it came in a little bit damaged, but not too badly. And I really hate the fucking lack of quality control here. But, it is what it is. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. That's actually why I ended up not buying it yet. I originally said I was going to wait until there was volume 7 so I can pick up both and kind of get to one that I was excited about. But then I decided to pick it up when I could. And then I never could, because they always had these horrible, misprints. And eventually I just ordered it on Amazon. And I got a misprinted title, but it's fine. It's not that big a deal, I guess. Then we have Square Enix, My Dress Up Darling, number 8. I'm very excited about this one. Honestly, with Square Enix, it's fucking impossible to tell when they're actually going to release something, because there's a release date, and then books don't ever appear until like a month later. And I don't know, it's kind of weird, but it is what it is. And then finally, I have a little haul here from Half Price Books. We have Livingstone number 1. Very excited about this one. I've seen a lot of people talk about it, and it's supposed to be a short one, only 4 volumes long, so that's going to be cool. Hopefully I like it. And then I got this Horimiya from my friend, the Prom G, which is awesome. Thank you very much, Prom. He sold it to me for $7, which is really, really nice of him. And then I got Dark Gathering because it was $8 at Half Price Books. It's brand new, so that's cool. And again, no color pages. That's really lame. But I got this because it's a Shonen Jump title that doesn't seem to be on the Shonen Jump app. If it is on the Shonen Jump app, I'll probably end up selling this. But for now, I picked it up and bought it physically because I wanted to check it out. And since it was $2 off, it was good. So there you go. That's Dark Gathering number 1. And that concludes this haul video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys got this month. Did you guys get any comic books? And if you did, which ones? And thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you guys for having patience with me. And hopefully you guys enjoy all of the stuff that I showed you. So yeah, see you guys later.